Hello and welcome. It is the 11th day of May 2019. It is a Saturday. Welcome to the Money Charts channel. My name is Derek. All bets trades of the like within each his own risk and their own reward. Going back to July of last year, price action had fallen below the 6,000 handle after approaching a lower high at around the 9,814 ballpark area. It's so hard. I mean, if it doesn't make a higher high or matching high, that's fine. High or low, we need to make it. Look at this. Look at this inverted head and shoulders pattern it had. Broke it through in July. Awesome. Okay, but it didn't have to make the higher high, and it didn't. It has gone up to 8,500 levels it has never seen since that point. And it didn't hold the neckline to the inverted head and shoulders pattern. I talk about must hold areas. Well, we can see from that area it rallied a little bit above and it kept the pattern of lower highs and lower lows. And that's what I kept talking about throughout the year. Okay, we have this lower high because this wasn't a breakdown low, it was a matching low. Okay, well, I guess that would be a matching low, sort of. And because it went down here, that was a lower high, and then it was a lower high here. So it has to get above one of these lower highs. Well, it finally did it because it has gotten above 6,800 today. It hasn't gotten above, at least not as of yet, the 73.89. I'm not really going to be nitpicking at these highs anymore. Like back then, it was extremely important. And obviously, after the fact, oh, the down move, consolidating, and then the Fibonacci level here, which it resisted quite frequently, comes up to the 48.5 handle, which is fib resistance, but there wasn't resistance there at all. And of course, fast move to the next level is usually the case. It took some time, so move to the next level was the case. And here we stand today. Price action 7,760. The intraday high is in at thus far $6,989.95, a hair below 7,000. On the single hour term time frame, price action just continues to keep this upward momentum going in play. So what's the status right now on resistance here? Well, short term it was that. But when we're talking Fibonacci levels, we're not talking short term resistance, although it was as well. But we're talking long term levels. But this isn't that much of a move. It's a big pierce above now. Weekly time frame, noticeable pierce above. But that's all it is. I mean, that's barely anything above this line to where the next one is in at 9,814. Because the market has been going higher, I have to upgrade my must hold area. And it's going to probably change. And the easiest one is going to be high divided by low, root 0.382 multiply low. It was 4,098, 4,100. And was back up as it was in here. But now that it's starting to go higher, as it pulls back whenever it's ready to do it. Well, now that it's had this extra momentum, I'm expecting that on a bullish level, it's going to, well, basically successfully correct the 18, pending, of course, it goes so high that the 18 gets out of whack and it just goes below it. But I'm just talking about mathematical numbers here. The low is 31.29. And the high is like, what, 69.90. 42 and a half. So when I upgrade it, we're probably upgrading it by about 50 points, 60 points. But as it keeps going higher, that number would keep going up as well. 51.42 most likely will not stay as a 61.8, meaning 38.2 down. So therefore, because 42 and change was Fibonacci and this number is 4,098, I'm now looking, I guess instead I was saying pierce below was fine. Now that's where the pierce low I would like to see it hit. I don't want to see it even go lower than that. Now I want to see it hold and stay above 42 if any serious correction is going to have now. But there are no signs of that. The opposite signs are in play. Bull run. And on every single time frame, there's the weekly. And I'm going to do the monthly on the final one. The daily, as I've been showing. Continuous up has broken, of course, the day after it hit the Fibonacci mark, 4 hour. There we see the small congestion there, and I already showed the one. I'll show it again. On the 50-minute time frame, the very short, this is really short term, market has lost momentum. And if it can hold and stay below 67.70.38 while at least going down to 66.78, that would start downward momentum. And resistance has been short term established in at 68.39. I don't care about the 5 or the 1. Also of note, the Bitfinex number is half a percent, not even, like less than 30 points, like 24 points away. So that's, I just keep my eye on it. That's an interesting move. We'll see how this goes moving forward. So therefore, let's take a look at this on the long term. 18 highs. Okay. That number comes in at 69 or 65.90, so it's obviously pierced above it microscopically on the long term. This is enough if it can hold this area for these numbers lines to start to flatten out. But it's got to get above it for me to see attempt for resumption of trend. It's working its way on any number above 7,000, below 8,000, it seems to me, because 8,000, I barely see it above the highs. So breaking 8,000 to me is when I would see it starting to attempt to revert the trend. And I think really getting above the previous level where the 18 average of highs was, run this, and that's that Fibonacci number, then 10,000. That's going to be that key number for strong hold, command hold for resumption of trend. Because going back to the Fibonacci levels, and this is almost, and I hate to say that, because every time Fib levels come in, it's now what? But sometimes I'll have strong biases for resistance or not. And if we're not seeing resistance here at the that 6350 number, then it's again the next target level is going to be 9815. And I'm going to be very strong to think that's going to be resistance where we'll either just hang and congest there or at least come back down to the into the 6,000s. I would be very strong that it would stay there and or come back down to somewhere in the 6s. And probably even maybe the low 6s at that, considering Pierce Extra on the 63. Switching over to Litecoin, which continues. There's a little bit of difference here between Bitcoin and LTC. It continues to stay within this 18 average of highs for the second period or month in a row. It's still declining, but that's all going to change this period. If, of course, it can really just get above 100 even, that would probably be enough to make this start to flatten out, considering it's a front-weighted average, and that number of the high would intra-move change. Or if it can hold these levels of around 70-something in the month of June, and at least test 95 again that month, then I guess it wouldn't matter on the low number because 18 average of highs doesn't well affect the low. But the 18 average of lows is sideways. So same old situation in here. And this brings up an interesting, like a battle in a game that I look at, because where we are now, breaking out, okay, that's established resistance. Where would I go to probably be? Oh, the line is like in the way, and that's exactly where I think it would be. 126. So if it's able to get above it, then this is just an extreme major situation because the 18 average of highs, just like Bitcoin, I think if you see the same sort of deal where it's holding the 150-ish area for a decent amount of time, and then the clear acceleration above 2, that could be just a very strong setup because it would be resumption of trend, and it also would be a failed breakdown. Because here you have the up move, okay, a reversal of trend, band flattening out. Well, it first hit the band in February of 2018. It stayed completely within it until July. It left it on August, never to see it again until this most recent run. So thus, it had a significant, noticeable, established support leg lower. Again, if it resists this, comes back down, we see weakness in the area of 45 for a little bit. Well, yeah, that's reversal of trend, but it's either or now. because when you see this move, it can really only be nothing more, and it can just stay congesting and sideways, but then it's still waiting for the signal, and basically signal and leaving those two spots. Well, of course, reversal of trend means Litecoin going to like $8. Oh, realistically, down to 4. Come on, where it came from. But on the upside, what's the realistic numbers again? Massive volatility, obviously. If I'm talking about, yeah, whatever, we're 85 now. Yeah, if it goes down, we're going to 4. Oh, if it goes up. I hear you there. Okay, well, you get this 125, 126, and it's probably even realistically into the 140 level. Yeah, here's the deal. If it manages to break above that, especially hold, yeah, we're talking a small, like, yeah, whatever level in the 300s, but Fibonacci upside. Okay, let's do some of that. What I'm looking for on Fibonacci upside is an uptrend. Boom, this is the uptrend. I need a price correction within it. There it is. High divided by low to the root of 1.618. Multiply the low. The high in here comes in at 371. I'm going to put in. And the low, I believe, is like 21. 22. 22 and a quarter. My upside target on a break of 370 is in that of around $2,100. Expected to probably even go higher than that. All right, then. So as far as volatility, yeah, it's there. And I expect it right now to continue moving forward. So if you want to understand your risk reward, I've given you some numbers. You can work within your mathematical calculations or all that type of stuff. But multiple time frames. I've been looking at this monthly, which doesn't have much data for quite some time. What does the rest of it show? On the weekly term, we had the breakout above the 18 average of highs on February 14th. It was one of those situations where it literally did not come back to the band, and it managed to break this level of established resistance at about 55, and it's had a nice run ever since. It has now technically came back to the band previous. Well, it was there this month. The highs come in at 72.12. The low for this period is 71.20. So an exact, it has touched it literally. Of course, last period it did so as well. So it came back down after three red candle move, which was the vast majority of the gain that it had, as this low was 60 even, and this low here was 66. So with the exception of really the first $6 on this move, it gave it all back. But now it's starting to do the opposite back again. It's leaving the 18 average of highs at this spot. And the Fibonacci from here to here to say is going to be important will be an understatement, which we will be taking a look at. On the daily term time frame, this is already super strong as it is. Why didn't it come down to 63, 63? And I really do mean that. I did miss one buy order. One. I got two of them filled against Bitcoin. Of course, this is against the dollar, but I had one at around the 11 handle. It went down to like 11.5, 0.110, and but anyway. So it didn't come down here by any means. As far as how the 18 plays out, there's band flattening out. Established a level of support. It did so here above the band. Come back to the band, it did it right here, and it hasn't even attempted to break below it ever since, because two sideways and break out above. Okay, now it's an opposite attempt. It's an attempt to possibly revert the trend. Good luck. And that attempt was stated on the May 3rd day. May 4th was an extension of the high, holding the 18 lows. That's a nice pause day. After that, we had about 5 days of small consolidation back down to what worked out to a flat 18 average. So now, breaking down below the 18 lows, we're looking to at least have a test of this and probably lower. And breaking it to the 18 average of highs, we're looking for at least a test of the 81 and probably higher. Well, it's already broken higher. And it did so on today's session. Okay, so it got above this level. Now we've pretty much gotten into this level of key support. There's not much room left. The only next real level to me looks like previous resistance. 4 hour. And I'm going to put Fibonacci in here. I'm not going to put the lines in. I'm just going to calculate it on my spreadsheet, and that'll be that. So amongst it, we've had the failed attempt to revert the trend here, down leg lower. Now this attempt here, albeit with this little scary move here, has been a successful one because it had a nice run here and it's doing another one right now. You can talk about maybe an inverted head and shoulders type of stuff and how it's breaking the neckline, and that type of pattern stuff is totally legit. In fact, there could be a bonus if it goes up because the fact that it's not resisting here, because one of the things that you can make a case of is left shoulder here, head here, and now it's got to make the right shoulder. But if it doesn't make the right shoulder, it keeps going. That's just super strong. But that's just another way of looking at it from here as if it goes down and it's able to hold around 76 ballpark area, 75 to 70, 75 even, but nicely more at 76 to 77, that you could build that inverted head and shoulders pattern. But you know what the market's going to do from what it's going to do, and I'd rather be looking at some Fibonacci retracement. This high comes in at it was like close to, it was like 98. So we're going to put high divided by low to the exponents of 38.2 and 61.8%. 66.5 is good enough for me. And I'm going to redo it, by the way. See, I'm going to do it this way because now I'm going to get 4 digits, but the last 2 are going to be in decimal form. So 77.12 and 84.5. Well, pretty much so 77.12, what did that do? Well, from that move in here, it got up towards, it pierced extra, had it broke below, it found resistance here. That's where it had its big congestion break above. That was a big level. And now it's come to that next key fib point. So holding and staying around this general area of the low 80s, if it can do that, that's a super strong bullish setup moving forward. If this just keeps accelerating higher, well, now we're talking about within reversal of trend that, well, things could get pretty interesting moving forward. That's pretty much all I want to say about that. Let's put this to auto. Let's take a quick finish off on LITECOIN, which will just be 2 time frames. It'll be the hour and the 15. On the single hour time frame, after grinding the 18 average, showing a lot of strength among such, we had, of course, I talked about that. What's that resistance again? 77.12 was the big level, although it's established a pierce higher. So there was a 77.12. The Pierce higher big number was relatively around 78 and a half. So we can see how it congested amongst that area for quite some time. And then when it was able to clear it, oh my goodness, was it ever able to clear it? And we're probably going to see so very well on the 15-minute time frame, because here we have it here at 79 low change, and then breaking that level at 415. It's just one of those wow moments. And let's move this on to Bitcoin dominance. You're probably going to see this chart a lot from here on in moving forward. I do love this indicator. 60.9% or 61. On a red down day with Bitcoin going up. Don't think that Litecoin having a little bit better of a day is actually going to help make this go down. Mathematically in my head it makes me laugh, but I mean 12 out of 13 times usually something makes me laugh. It does, and the other time it's like, oh wow. Meaning altcoins are probably starting to rebound, and maybe Ethereum's doing well. That's what makes the most sense. Ethereum, the ripples, those coins might be doing well. But right around 4 o'clock, and that's when Litecoin started going up. So let me just take a look at Ethereum, and if Ethereum is doing well, then it will start to make a lot more sense for me. Ethereum against the, and I want the daily term. So yeah, it's got a nice breakout pattern on the ETH. It really does. Level of resistance established here. Retested again on April 10th, having these couple of days in here. Last few days coming back to about the 18 average of closes. And now it's broken out above that level, weekly term time frame. This is, yeah, getting it above this. We're probably looking at like, that's a dangerous setup again. And if you care about Fibonacci down upside for this, yada yada yada, that's a Seinfeld skit that I say in my life way too much, more in the last few years than ever in the previous quarter century. Wow, that's how long that show's been on. 1424, 11, yeah, 1424. That's the high. Fibonacci upside Okay, what's this low in at about 85? Yeah, 85 will work. Even 86 I want to do. Upside target $8,000. Good luck on that. 10,000 Pierce extra. How about Ripple? Because that's got a high market cap. So if these decent market cryptos are doing well, then that makes sense for Ripple's hanging in there. Hanging in there means pretty much you're just staying within the daily or neutral, and yeah, even today's rally I mean, all you're just doing is escaping below the 18 lows. You've got to the 18 highs, and you're tracing down near the closes. Yada yada yada. Now let's look at Monero against the dollar. Wow, nice breakout pattern setup showing on the 2nd and 3rd of April. What a nice move it had, getting above this level of resistance. Testing a pierce below on April the 8th. Multiple pierces below April the 23rd, meaning not really. But after a lower low, it somewhat came close here on like the 4th, but we got it done on May the 7th. Piercing extra, but in that area. A few days down. Okay, now we have yesterday leaving the 18 lows, today leaving the 18 highs. Back to yet another test of this area. Weekly chart. Stage 1, band flatten out. Stage 2, establish resistance. Stage 3, come back to the band. And I don't care if this was mathematically hit or not. That's a correction via that of time. On this period, and I'm going to find out what it was. On this period, the 18 average of highs was 60.64. Hey, it's a hit mathematically. 60.10 is the low, 60.64 is the 18 high. So it literally, via that of time, but it wouldn't have mattered. If it would have been like a pierce above, you got to use rule of judgment. And breaking out above this, okay, well, let's do Fibonacci. I'm going to give you the same upside target works here, but when I put these Fibonacci numbers in, I'm doing high divided by low. I'm going to be focused on the 38.2 as the next level, with 23.6 being meh, whatever. 61.8 is a key level, and then 76.4, meh, whatever. Previous high is a key level, which is in that of about 439, and then Fibonacci upside after that, the high. It's in at 477. The low. It's in at about, we'll say 40. Actually, 39 and a half. I mean, I do kind of want to be as literal as possible. Although, mathematically, putting 39 and a half or 40 in this calculation, that doesn't change much on high divided by low. So it doesn't change your numbers that much either. Key numbers. Well, the first one's that meh was a 71, which is where it is now. So getting above that, which is still a key fib level. Key numbers for Monero, 102. And then 184. And then 265, then 477, and then long term 2,222. Well, technically 2224. But it's just easy to remember 4 twos. I'll probably remember that moving forward without needing to. Oh, well, I probably will. 2222. I'm trying to set it up my brain now so that when 20 days, 14 months come from now, or whenever the time need be, that I look at this. Oh, yeah, 2222. Okay. And let's just finish this off by talking about this video game that I'm playing. It had an activity tell me or I had a notice today. The notice was for me to buy some of this coin. And oh, it's got this little bearish setup. But a fast move to 523 would be pretty cool. If it does it. Or would it be cool? I would accumulate a lot of this coin. But then to big ol' rally up from that, that would be cool. Well, we'll see. Daily chart, doing all this type of stuff. Now, it got above this a couple times, which meant a couple times I was able to sell this for that of Neo. Which it's up today, which helps the ratio. So yeah, I sold some Neo today. Yeah, and it's like well below the 18 average of lows. I don't care. Because I'm not really trading this chart. I am in a means to an end, and I'm using this number as a means to an end to get another number. But what I do on my spreadsheet is I'll type 1423 on Neo. So no need to change it. The last time I typed it in, it was 1422. And then Florin. Well, it's in at 1259. So I'll make sure that number's in here. Oh, it's down a bit more. I could have waited for a better trade. That's fine. So now what I can do is I go to my tab, and you can't see it, but I click on a tab that says flow.neo, and I can see the ratio here is 112.95. So in here on April the 29th, this is how I'm playing the computer video game. This was a rush sale, or a panic sale, meaning my indicator still was waiting to go above 150. But I'm like, I was bored, and I'm glad I did because of what happened on May the 3rd and 8th. So I sold just one Neo for 146.34. And that's why I only sold one. Ratio was 146. And then on May the 3rd, I ended up selling 249.893, getting 2.41 Neo. The ratio was 103. Much, I mean, different. I mean, this is like the video game that I played, that black screen, doing the exact same thing. May the 8th, 5 days later. Ratio goes down to 81.4. So a move from 81.5 to 103.5. That's a differential of 22 basis points on 81. Okay, that's enough for me. So I ended up this time selling 240 flow, which was almost what it was before, but I got a bit more. And this is like before. I'm thinking, man, just like the video game. And today I'm looking at it, and I decided, man, it just makes sense to sell 2.776523 Neo. That exact number. Because that was what the bid number was. That's what one person was bidding to buy it at. And I'm thinking, well, that's pretty much the exact same ballpark as I would do. 2.7 something. Keep about 0.18 or whatever this. I'm keeping 48 here. Maybe I could have done 2.5 or 2.3 or 2.4, whatever. I mean, decent enough volatility. The price was going better than 81 to 103, or greater than 22 basis points. So as long as these moves, to me, I like the number of 25%. Sell 20% or so of what you own, and if it gets better for market conditions, do it. And then do so, like, and this is what I do, like on a 25% move, then sell about 20%. If you're fortunate enough to get a 40% move, then maybe sell 28% or 30%. And if you're really fortunate enough to have like a 100 or 2 or 300% move on a ratio, like say something crazy happens, like flow goes up to like 3,000, and this ratio like just plummets down to like, well, that would bring it down to like 30s or something. I'm like, sweet, I'm going to sell 60% of my flow. If it did that, I'd probably sell 60%. And then, oh my goodness, the Neo I'm getting back is sick. It's all about the game and how you play it. That's how I play it. So just a few more tidbits. This is my quick number in here. This is this number 25% move. So this is 0.2. This is this number multiply 1.25 multiply zero point 0.8. So I know I want to see something get near across above 130 or around 83 or lower. Then I'll make another trade. And just for fun, these are early number stats. I have sold 54.95 flow for 1.586 Neo at an average ratio price of 34 and 2/3. And the price of gold keeps going down, much down a lot right now. As we look back, right in here, when the prices were a lot higher, well, let's do the math. On, like say December 14th, when gold was 1250. Well, Bitcoin was 3150. Okay, let's do some math. 3150 divided by 1250. So the price of gold was 2.52 on the ratio. Or technically, 0.396. Okay, so with current prices, the ratio is 5 1/4, which means 0.19. So let's just do some realistic levels in here. On the short term, excuse me, Bitcoin is able to get up to say, well, 10,000, and gold remains in the 1,300 area where we're talking, well, that's about 7.28. That reminds around 13.69. Something 7.28 is a comment. But anyway, 7.6. If Bitcoin goes to like say 16.5 and gold's around 1,300, the ratio would be 12.69. And if say Bitcoin goes up to say 72,500 and gold's about, we'll say 1,300, the ratio would be 55.76. And now we'd be talking about under a 0.02 spot on the opposite end on the fraction number. And if Bitcoin is able to get to say $257,218, and gold we will say is we'll say 1,875, which means it's finally starting to break out, the ratio would be 137 or under that of 0.01. Gold, silver, OD is waiting to get some more, but I'm waiting for cheaper prices. And this number again with the 14.75, I mean, that's just like a means, sort of like the ratio of coins. That's like just like a means to an end kind of deal. Because as a silver buyer, yeah, I guess you have to use fiat currency. But my plans is selling it. I don't know where the currency's going to be when I really, really want to sell my gold and silver. And I really got to add I don't got much gold. I got one, two, three, four, five, like 6 or 7 pieces of gold. I want to get like 20. I got 20 pieces, and there's that one. There's a half-ounce coin that I want to buy, and I got it already on my order bin or the checkout, or what do they call that? Like your order that everyone has on the site. And I'm talking about silver gold bull. I got like a half-ounce gold coin on my whatchamacallit thing where you check out from. My inbox, that's like email. My basket, that's my online basket, I guess. I got a half an ounce of gold on there. I got about 23 or 24 ounces of silver. But I want to get those prices much, much cheaper. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye.